Find me, boy. That's important.
Exploring Ezo, you'll discover all sorts of new armor, charms, and gear. Perfect for building up Atsu around your chosen playstyle. Are you stealth, ranged, or melee focused? Find and combine the pieces that are just right for you. And of course, customize the look of your armor and weapons to make sure that your version of Atsu looks and fights just the way you want.
The digital photography community for Ghost of Tsushima is incredible. We're happy to have photo mode back in Ghost of Yōtei and look forward to seeing photos from your journey across Ezo. We want playing through Ghost of Yōtei to feel like stepping inside of your favorite classic samurai films. So, From the beginning of the game, we're happy to offer a full Japanese voice track with full lip sync that you can play with subtitles.
誰だてめえ。生きてたか。狼の姫。一人残らず息の根止めたと思った。また会えたな。刀鍛冶の娘。
覚えておけ。圧だ。
To take the feeling of stepping into a classic samurai cinema experience one step further, we are honored to once again partner with acclaimed director Akira Kurosawa's estate for Kurosawa Mode, which emulates his classic black and white films. For Ghosts of Yōtei, we wanted to celebrate two other influential directors who have had an impact on the genre as a whole. First, we've partnered with Takeshi Miike, director of 13 Assassins, for a mode that puts the camera closer during combat for a more intense, raw experience along with increased mud and blood splatter. And lastly, we've partnered with the director of Samurai Champloo, Shinichiro Watanabe. Turn this mode on to listen to some original lo-fi tracks directed by Watanabe himself. Can set up camp under the stars of Ezo. But she's not always alone.
Hey friend, share your fire with the traveling peddler?
What are you selling?
A mask said to be cursed with the unpredictable nature of its previous owner.
Camping under the stars is a great way to rest up, play your shamisen, or cook to ready for a fight ahead. It's also designed to help bring important characters and upgrades straight to you. In fact, in place of the journal menu from Ghost of Tsushima, we've opted for a more character-driven way of managing allies and vendors you meet in Ezo. Over time, Atsu grows to have her own wolf pack. And here, you can keep track of when a sensei might have a weapon skill for you, or when a vendor has something unique to sell. Managing upgrades, resources, when to buy what, can be a burden in a big open-world game. At campsites, members of your wolf pack can catch up with you, offering upgrades and unique items. This helps ensure you have every opportunity to upgrade and prepare for Atsu's vengeance quest ahead. You don't have to leave where you're exploring, the game comes to you.
The people of Ezo believe Atsu is an Onryo, a wrathful ghost bent on revenge. And they're half right. Atsu doesn't care if she lives or dies, so long as she can punish the Yōtei 6, a ruthless gang who slaughtered her family. After 16 years in the South, she's returned home to put their spirits to rest. It's warm memories of her family that propel her forward. When Atsu returns to her childhood home, with the push of a button, you can experience those cherished times. By giving you the freedom to explore Atsu's past, the wound of her loss becomes personal. It's that pain that pushes her forward. Hunting down the Yōtei 6 is a near impossible task, she'll face 1,000 blades. But the Onryo is relentless, and with each victory, the ghost story around her grows. Ezo is a dangerous place. Atsu always wields a weapon. As for which, that's up to you. Will you choose a katana, spear, kasarigama, odachi, or dual swords? Each is uniquely effective against a particular enemy and has their own set of upgrades to discover and master.
Ghost of Yōtei is positioned not only as a spiritual continuation of Ghost of Tsushima, but also as an ambitious reinvention of what an open-world samurai experience can be in the next generation of gaming. While Ghost of Tsushima told a sweeping tale of honour, survival, and the clash between tradition and change, Ghost of Yōtei takes players into darker, more personal territory, set against the harsh and unforgiving wilderness of Ezo in 1603. The new protagonist, Atsu, is not a noble samurai defending her homeland, but a ronin consumed by grief and vengeance. 16 years before the events of the game, her family was brutally murdered by the infamous Yōtei 6, each a warlord, assassin, or mercenary who now controls a different region of the land. Atsu's transformation into an Onryo, an embodiment of wrathful vengeance from Japanese folklore, defines both her character arc and the game's atmosphere. This framing gives the narrative a spectral, supernatural edge, weaving folklore with psychological drama as players wrestle with whether Atsu is simply using the mask of the Onryo to inspire fear in her enemies, or if she is truly becoming something otherworldly in her relentless pursuit of revenge. The world of Ezo is brought to life with an extraordinary level of detail that underscores Sucker Punch's dedication to authenticity. The team conducted extensive research trips to Hokkaido, capturing not only the topography of snowy plains, icy forests, tundra and volcanic ridges, but also recording environmental audio such as the whisper of frozen winds, the shifting crunch of snow underfoot, and the cries of migratory birds. These natural soundscapes are paired with haunting musical compositions inspired by both traditional Japanese instruments and contemporary cinematic scoring, often punctuated by silence to emphasize isolation and suspense. Dynamic environmental systems play a far larger role than in Ghost of Tsushima. Auroras dance across the skies during frigid nights, volcanic tremors shake the ground and shift terrain, rivers freeze or thaw depending on seasonal cycles, and snowstorms can reduce visibility to a few meters, forcing players to rely on sound, intuition, and memory. These aren't simply aesthetic flourishes, they directly affect gameplay. A blizzard may scatter patrol routes, icy terrain can make enemies slip or alter combat positioning, and nighttime auroras can expose silhouettes of hidden foes or illuminate otherwise darkened pathways. Atsu's campaign is designed around freedom of choice, encouraging players to chart their own path rather than following a strictly linear progression. The Yōtei 6 can be confronted in any order, and each encounter dramatically reshapes the balance of power across the region. For example, eliminating the warlord who controls supply chains may weaken rival forces and alter enemy patrols in another part of the world, while sparing or ignoring certain foes might embolden them to attack villages or extend their influence. This branching structure ensures that no two playthroughs will unfold the same way, with Atsu's legend evolving organically based on player decisions. Side activities add further immersion, from practical mercenary contracts such as bounty hunting, bodyguard missions, or resource gathering, to more contemplative diversions such as sumie painting, playing the shamisen in campsites, or bathing in natural onsen to restore health and reflect on the past. These quieter moments of artistry and rest deepen the game's themes of memory, healing, and fleeting peace in the midst of relentless violence. Combat expands upon the fluid and cinematic swordplay of Ghost of Tsushima, while introducing new mechanics to reflect Atsu's identity as both a ronin and an Onryo. Players have access to an arsenal of weapons including dual katanas for swift aggression, the heavy odachi for wide crowd-clearing arcs, the kusarigama for grappling and chaining aerial combos, yari spears for reach, and the Tanegashima matchlock firearm for devastating precision at range. A grappling Kaganawa not only aids traversal, but can also be integrated into combat, allowing players to yank enemies off balance, close gaps in a split second, or even disarm foes. The fighting system emphasizes versatility and improvisation, rewarding players who experiment with mixing weapon types to counter different enemy classes. Each member of the yōtei 6 introduces mechanics and environmental conditions that test the player's mastery of these tools, turning every duel into a narrative and mechanical climax. Presentation has always been a defining aspect of Sucker Punch's samurai projects, and Ghost of Yōtei elevates this tradition by offering players a suite of stylistic visual and audio modes tailored to different cinematic inspirations. Kurosawa mode returns, bringing stark black and white visuals, vintage film grain, and re-recorded Foley sound effects designed to emulate the audio texture of mid-20th century Japanese cinema. Building on that, the developers introduced new thematic filters. Takashi Miike mode infuses scenes with high-contrast lighting, experimental camera cuts, and heightened gore to channel the director's penchant for stylized brutality, while Shinichiro Watanabe mode applies lo-fi soundscapes and color-graded palettes that transform exploration into a meditative, almost dreamlike journey reminiscent of anime-infused neo-noir storytelling. Players can switch between these modes seamlessly, allowing the presentation itself to become a tool of expression, whether leaning into historical authenticity, heightened drama, or stylized mood. The technical foundation of Ghost of Yōtei demonstrates how Sucker Punch is leveraging the full potential of PlayStation 5 hardware. The game's environments are rendered with near photorealistic snow shaders, dynamic particle effects, and complex volumetric systems that allow auroras, mist, and storm fronts to shift naturally across the land. The PS5's high-speed SSD eliminates load screens entirely, letting players fast travel instantly between villages or return to camp with no interruption. Tempest 3D audio tech enriches immersion further. Every rustling pine needle, every echoing blade clash, and every distant wolf howl is positioned spatially, drawing players into the soundscape of Ezo. DualSense support pushes this feedback even further. Adaptive triggers tighten when drawing the bowstring taut in freezing weather. The haptic motors deliver granular feedback for crunching snow under boots or the sharp vibration of steel clashing with steel, and even subtle resistance can be felt when pulling enemies with the grappling Kaginawa. These features create a tactile link between player and character, reinforcing the physicality of Atsu's journey. Narratively, Ghost of Yōtei distinguishes itself from its predecessor by focusing on themes of grief, vengeance, and the thin veil between humanity and monstrosity. While Ghost of Tsushima explored the conflict between tradition and necessity in the face of invasion, Ghost of Yōtei turns inward, asking whether a person who becomes a vessel for vengeance can retain their humanity. Atsu's transformation into an Onryo is not merely symbolic. It manifests in gameplay and story as her reputation spreads across Ezo. NPCs whisper about her as both savior and demon. Villagers may refuse aid if her vengeance grows too brutal, and children may leave offerings at shrines believing she is a spirit watching over them. This duality shapes the player's perception of Atsu. Is she liberating the land, or haunting it? The developers have confirmed that multiple endings will reflect how the player chooses to balance wrath, mercy, and humanity throughout the campaign, encouraging replayability. Cultural authenticity is another pillar of development. Sucker Punch has continued its tradition of working with historians, cultural consultants, and local experts from Hokkaido to ensure accuracy in language, rituals, architecture, and folklore. Traditional songs, oral myths, and even seasonal agricultural practices are woven into side quests, ensuring the land feels truly alive. The team also collaborated with martial arts choreographers to capture fluid, historically grounded swordplay, while simultaneously exaggerating it just enough to feel mythic, in keeping with the supernatural Onryo framing. Motion capture performances include not only combat specialists, but also dancers and stage actors, lending Atsu's movements a mixture of raw power and ghostly grace. Beyond its mechanics and visuals, Ghost of Yōtei is designed as a meditation on memory, nature, and myth. Campsites serve as reflection points where Atsu can recount past fragments of her family's life, illustrated through sumie sequences that shift art style into ink-washed animations. Folkloric encounters blur the line between reality and the supernatural, as Atsu faces yokai-inspired enemies, spectral illusions, and hallucinations shaped by her emotional state. Snow-buried shrines and aurora-lit caverns become liminal spaces where history, spirituality, and vengeance converge. All of this builds to reinforce the central tone, a deeply atmospheric revenge journey where every fight, every moment of quiet reflection, and every step through the blizzards of Ezo feels like a step closer to becoming more spirit than human. In sum, Ghost of Yōtei is shaping up to be far more than a follow-up to Ghost of Tsushima. It is both a continuation and reinvention, one that blends raw open-world action with deeply personal storytelling, folkloric horror, and cinematic artistry. With its flexible narrative structure, visceral yet elegant combat, haunting presentation modes, and PlayStation 5-driven immersion, it seeks not only to honor the legacy of samurai cinema and Japanese history, but to push interactive storytelling into new territory. On October 2nd, 2025, players will be invited into a world where revenge, myth, and memory intertwine beneath the shadow of Mount Yōtei, in an experience that promises to be as breathtaking as it is brutal.